Did you know that over 70% of Americans carry some form of debt? And for many, high interest payments are a significant burden? It feels like you're running in place, doesn't it? In this video, we'll map out every source of your high-interest debt and show you exactly where those high rates are costing you the most. If you find this helpful, consider subscribing. We break down finance news like this every week. Drop a comment with your biggest question about tackling debt. Let's start by getting a crystal-clear picture of your debt landscape. Right now, with interest rates hovering at some of their highest points in years, those credit card balances, personal loans, and even medical bills can feel like a runaway train. The first, crucial step to escaping this trap is understanding exactly what you owe and where you're being charged the most. We need to identify all those high-interest obligations, think credit cards, payday loans, and any medical debt that hasn't been paid off. Once we've gathered that information, we'll calculate your total debt and, importantly, your average interest rates. This isn't just about numbers. It's about seeing how quickly high interest compounds, turning a small balance into a much larger problem over time. The weight of debt can feel overwhelming, especially when interest rates climb. It's a reality many are facing in today's economic climate, making it feel like progress is slipping away. But understanding the mechanics of how this debt grows is the first step toward reclaiming financial control. Relief is not just a wish, it's an achievable outcome with a well-defined strategy. Consider the insidious nature of high-interest debt. Credit cards often carry annual percentage rates, or APRs, that can exceed 20%. For example, a Federal Reserve report from early 2023 indicated that the average credit card APR hovered around 22%. When interest compounds on this kind of debt, it means that the interest itself starts earning interest. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, picking up more snow as it goes. This exponential growth can quickly turn a manageable balance into a much larger problem, making it feel like an uphill battle. So how does this compounding effect truly impact a balance? Imagine owing $5,000 on a credit card with a 20% APR. If only the minimum payment is made, a significant portion of that payment is consumed by interest, barely chipping away at the principal. Over time, this can lead to paying back far more than the original amount borrowed. Did you know that carrying a credit card balance for an extended period can result in paying double or even triple the original purchase price? This mathematical reality underscores the urgency of a focused repayment plan. The current economic climate, with interest rates hovering near recent highs, can make existing debt feel like an ever-growing burden. It's a challenging situation, but understanding the mechanics of debt and employing a strategic approach can illuminate a path toward financial relief. This segment delves into the debt avalanche method, a strategy focused on mathematical efficiency. It prioritizes paying off debts with the highest interest rates first. Consider this. A credit card with a 25% APR can cost significantly more in interest over time than a loan at 7%. For instance, carrying a $5,000 balance at 25% APR could accrue over $1.250 in interest annually, whereas the same balance at 7% would cost around $350. This stark difference highlights why tackling high-interest debt first is so impactful. But how does this compare to other popular methods? While the debt snowball method, which focuses on paying off the smallest balances first for quick wins, offers psychological boosts, the debt avalanche is designed to minimize the total interest paid over the life of the debt. This mathematical advantage can translate into thousands of dollars saved. For example, a study by the National Foundation for Credit Counseling found that consumers using the debt avalanche method typically save more money on interest compared to those using the snowball method, though the exact savings vary based on individual debt profiles. So when faced with multiple debts, the question becomes, is it more psychologically rewarding to see balances disappear quickly, or is it more financially prudent to aggressively target the interest drain? The debt avalanche method, by its very design, targets the most expensive debt first, which can be likened to putting out the biggest, fastest-spreading fire before the smaller ones. This approach, while potentially requiring more discipline initially, offers the most significant long-term financial benefit by reducing the overall interest paid. When navigating the current economic landscape, with interest rates that can feel like they're climbing a mountain, the weight of debt can become a significant burden. High-interest obligations, like those on credit cards or certain personal loans, can seem insurmountable. But relief is not only possible, it's within reach with a clear, actionable strategy. This segment delves into the debt snowball method, a powerful approach designed for psychological momentum. Unlike other strategies that prioritize mathematical efficiency, the debt snowball focuses on paying off the smallest debts first, regardless of their interest rate. This creates a series of quick wins, offering a tangible sense of progress that can be incredibly motivating. Consider this. A person with 5 credit cards might tackle a card with a $500 balance before a larger card with a $5,000 balance, even if the larger card has a slightly lower interest rate. This immediate payoff of a debt provides a powerful psychological boost. Is this focus on quick wins the key to staying on track when facing multiple financial obligations? Research from organizations like the National Foundation for Credit Counseling often highlights the importance of behavioral economics in financial success. The principle is simple. By eliminating smaller debts rapidly, one builds confidence and a sense of accomplishment. This momentum can then be channeled into tackling larger, more complex debts. It's like clearing small hurdles with ease, building the confidence to then face the larger obstacles ahead. The current economic climate, marked by elevated interest rates, can make carrying debt feel like an insurmountable burden. It's understandable that financial obligations seem to grow heavier by the month. However, strategic planning can indeed provide significant relief, offering a clear path forward. One powerful tactic for managing high-interest debt involves leveraging 0% annual percentage rate, or APR, balance transfer credit cards. These cards allow for a temporary pause in interest accrual on existing balances, essentially giving debt a breather. For example, a balance transfer could move a $5,000 credit card debt with a 22% APR to a new card offering 0% for 18 months. This means every dollar paid during that promotional period directly reduces the principal rather than being consumed by interest. But this strategy isn't without its potential pitfalls, especially as we look towards 2026. It's crucial to be aware of balance transfer fees, which can range from 3% to 5% of the transferred amount. A 3% fee on a $5,000 transfer is $150. Furthermore, understanding the terms and conditions of the promotional period is paramount. What happens to the balance once the 0% APR expires? Failure to pay off the balance before the introductory period ends can result in interest being charged, often at a high standard rate, potentially negating any savings. Does it make sense to pay a fee to stop interest if the new card's standard rate is even higher? Strategic debt management requires a clear understanding of all existing financial obligations. Identifying every high-interest debt, whether it's credit cards, personal loans, or even medical debt, is the first step. Calculating the total amount owed and the average interest rate across these debts provides a comprehensive financial picture. It's often surprising to see how quickly interest compounds. For instance, a $10,000 debt at 20% APR can accrue over $1,600 in interest in just 1 year, a stark illustration of the problem. The current economic climate, with interest rates that can feel like a heavy anchor, is making the burden of debt feel even more significant. It's a challenging situation, but understanding the landscape and employing the right strategies can pave the way for considerable relief. When grappling with high-interest debt, such as credit card balances, personal loans, or even medical bills, the first step is clarity. Identifying every source of debt and calculating the total amount owed alongside the average interest rate provides a crucial baseline. Without this awareness, it's easy for high interest to silently compound, turning a manageable sum into a significant obstacle. For instance, a $5,000 credit card balance at 20% APR can accrue over $1,000 in interest in just 1 year, a stark illustration of how quickly these costs can escalate. This is where strategic tools like debt consolidation loans and credit counseling can offer a path forward. A debt consolidation loan allows an individual to combine multiple debts into a single new loan, often with a lower interest rate and a more manageable monthly payment. This simplification can be particularly beneficial when dealing with several high-interest accounts. For example, if an individual has 3 credit cards with a combined balance of $15,000 and an average APR of 22%, Consolidating this into a personal loan with a 10% APR could save them hundreds, if not thousands, in interest over the life of the loan, according to data from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. However, it's important to approach consolidation with a clear understanding of its terms and to seek out reputable lenders. When considering a personal debt consolidation loan, looking for options with lower interest rates and reasonable fees is paramount. For those facing overwhelming debt, reputable credit counseling services can offer guidance and negotiation assistance, though these are typically best explored when other options have been exhausted. When interest rates climb, the weight of high-interest debt can feel particularly overwhelming. It's a common challenge, but one that can be overcome with a focused approach and a clear strategy. Relief isn't just a hope, it's an achievable outcome. One powerful technique for unearthing extra funds is the no-spend challenge. This involves identifying a period, perhaps a week or a month, where discretionary spending is intentionally minimized. Think about it like a financial detox. What if a household could redirect just $50 a week by cutting back on impulse purchases? That's an extra $2,600 annually, a significant boost for debt repayment. Another avenue involves actively negotiating existing bills. Many service providers, from internet and cable companies to insurance providers, are open to discussing lower rates, especially for long-standing customers. Did you know that consumers who successfully negotiate their bills can save an average of 10 to 20% on those recurring expenses? It's astonishing how much can be saved by simply making a phone call. Furthermore, exploring temporary side hustles can provide a much-needed infusion of cash. These don't need to be long-term commitments. Perhaps it's selling unused items, taking on a few freelance projects, or even driving for a ride-sharing service during peak hours. Even earning an extra $200 a month can make a substantial difference when directed towards high-interest debt. Finally, establishing a dedicated budget, specifically earmarked for accelerated debt repayment, is crucial. This isn't just about tracking expenses, it's about prioritizing debt reduction. By consciously allocating these newly found funds, the journey out of debt becomes more tangible and effective. The current economic climate, marked by elevated interest rates, can make bearing the weight of debt feel overwhelming. When interest accrues rapidly, it can seem like an uphill battle to make meaningful progress. However, a clear, actionable strategy can pave the way for significant relief, even in challenging times. Understanding the full scope of one's debt is the crucial first step. This involves identifying all high-interest obligations, such as credit card balances, personal loans, and medical debt. For instance, the average credit card APR hovers around 20%, according to the latest data from the Federal Reserve. This compounding interest means that a portion of each payment goes towards interest rather than the principal, slowing down repayment considerably. Did you know that carrying a balance on a credit card with a 20% APR can cost hundreds of dollars in interest alone each year? With that foundational understanding, two primary strategies emerge for tackling high-interest debt: the debt avalanche and the debt snowball methods. The debt avalanche method prioritizes paying off debts with the highest interest rates first, while making minimum payments on all others. This approach is mathematically the most efficient, saving the most money on interest over time. Conversely, the debt snowball method focuses on paying off the smallest debt balances first, regardless of interest rate, while making minimum payments on larger debts. This psychological approach can provide early wins and build momentum, which is invaluable for staying motivated. Transitioning to strategic tools can further accelerate debt repayment. Balance transfer credit cards, for example, can offer a 0% introductory APR for a limited period, allowing funds to be directed entirely towards the principal. However, it's crucial to be aware of balance transfer fees, which can be as high as 3% to 5% of the transferred amount, and to have a plan to pay off the balance before the introductory period ends. Similarly, debt consolidation loans can combine multiple debts into a single loan, potentially with a lower interest rate. Research from organizations like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau suggests that individuals with good credit may qualify for rates significantly lower than their current credit card APRs. Ultimately, building a budget specifically for debt repayment is paramount. This involves identifying areas where spending can be reduced, freeing up more funds for aggressive payments. Consider implementing a no-spend challenge for a week or two, or exploring temporary side hustles to generate extra income. The key is to create a realistic allocation of funds within a budget, dedicating specific amounts towards the chosen debt repayment strategy. Tracking progress diligently, perhaps weekly, can reinforce commitment and highlight successes along the way.